It's Kong, King of Skull Island, the 8th wonder of the world. Or should it be the ape wonder of the world? Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're all doing very, very well. Whoa, here's a new angle for regular viewers. Same studio, the Kilt Mansion kitchen, of course, but we have transformed it into Skull Island. So, who's that you see in the foreground there? Whoa, let's bring him forward. Come on, sir, come on, trundle this way on your trusty steed of the T-Rex. I told you, put your feet in the stirrups and sit on the saddle properly. Apes. You know, if you pay them peanuts, what do you get? You know, monkeys. Yeah, not actually a T-Rex. That's actually the V-Rex from the Peter Jackson version. And a wonderful bit of kit it is too. So, anyway, folks, here's another video on King Kong. The original King Kong, that is. From 1933. The original, the best, the masterpiece. And who have we got? It's the man himself. It's the big fella. Look, it's Kong. Kong's coming. Whoa. Why am I doing this? That's your job. This is the Ultimate Skull Island figure from Neca. Neca have done a few King Kong, classic King Kong figures, and they're all good, but this one, I don't know, I think I like this one the best. And it's also the only one I've actually got. But you know me, nothing if not a completist. I will get the others in due course. But I thought I'd show you this guy. Now, he stands around 7 inches tall. In reality, the armature was probably not that much bigger when Willis O'Brien was animating him for the original 1933 King Kong. So he's probably standing about, you know, sort of yay big really. And but in the film, he's meant to be 50 feet. Peter Jackson's version, they bring him down a bit in size. What's he meant to be in the Dino De Laurenti version? 50 feet? Yeah, it's got to be the same sort of scale, hasn't it? Because he's got a hold. In the original, it's Fay Wray in the big mechanical hand. Of course, it's Jessica Lange in the big mechanical hand in the 1976 Dino De Laurenti version. So the scale must be pretty much the same as far as our giant simian is concerned. But, and then, what? Kong of Skull Island, or whatever the hell they're doing in the Monsterverse. He's much bigger again, isn't he? I think. I'm not bothered about them. But anyway, so let's have a little tour of this guy. Now, I'll bring him in close. He has 2 heads and he has some more hands to play around with. And he has a few little props and a few little accessories. A few little cameo appearances from some other creatures. But look at his face. Look at that face. I think there's 30 points of articulation on this. And he's pretty good. There's a pretty good range of positions you can get him into. I mean, you know, I don't think you've ever seen him riding a T-Rex before. Although, I lie. He does get on the back of the T-Rex. And they do some wrestling maneuvers and they start flipping each other around, don't they? But this stick, actually a tree trunk, is what he uses when he breaks through the great gates into the native village. He starts swatting natives off that huge scaffold thing that they've got going on. And they're chucking spears at him and all sorts, like. And obviously you've got Carl Denham and his sailors from the intrepid crew of the Venture. And they've got gas bombs. But he's using that to swat natives off the scaffolding. Down you go. And then he goes and stomps on them as well. He picks up a couple and eats them. You know, he's meant to be like, isn't he meant to just eat, you know, bananas and sort of roots and berries and vegetables and salady bits? But no, they don't actually overtly say that he's eating the natives, but he is using his teeth, those great big, fantastic, almost prehistoric fangs that he's got, to chomp and like chew. And then he throws the bodies away. So he's using his teeth as a weapon. But here's the guy himself. Look at him. Ooh. And it's a good likeness as well. There's many expressions for the original King Kong, many. And they had the life-size version as well. So the life-size hand, a life-size foot, and a life-size head and shoulders, and obviously the different expressions. He's got an articulated jaw, as you can see there, which is nice. It's nice to have that, because what he tends to do, he's got a fascination with jaws, not the shark. Although I'm sure if you come across the shark, you'd probably be the same. When he kills the T-Rex, he's by stomping its head, sort of like, pulling the jaws apart and then crushing one side of its skull down, almost like a curb sandwich, really. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it. And but then he starts playing around with the jaws, like how did these actually work? He's interested. He's going opening and closing with the jaws and all that. And now we can do it with him. Yeah, it does work. Yeah. Now, take that out of his hand for a second. But we do have some other accessories here, and I'm going to show you first and foremost, because this is great. Didn't expect to see this actually at all. It is the pteranodon or pterodon. People call it a pterodactyl. It's actually not a pterodactyl, it's a pterodon. But again, it's one of these words with a silent P at the start. But there you go. Now, this critter here, this attacks him when he's gone to his mountaintop lair. He's had battles with all sorts of animals and the sailors all the way through. He's met a little blonde girl. All he wants to do is go off to his pad and luxuriate with her and impress her, with his songs and stories of daring do. But the day just won't leave him alone. Stuff keeps getting in the way. So he gets there, he has to fight this bizarre eel, serpent-like lizard thing from the lagoon inside the big cave of Skull Mountain. And then finally destroying that, sits down for a breath of fresh air and to have a good sniff of Fay Ray's garments, which she peels off her body. Naughty ape. Bit of monkey business going on there. And, he's having a good old time when this thing swoops in. And he has to have another battle, another shufty with another beastie. Poof, poof, poof. Bang, But it's actually a really good little creature. Now, if you look at it, its head does move, some articulation there, and quite amazingly, its beak opens. And if you look closely, look at its eyes, little freakishly googly eyes. It's got its little claws on the wings. It's got its little feet as well, so you can perch somewhere, like on a T-Rex's head, perhaps. You're never going to stand on there, are you? If Kong couldn't master it, you've got no chance. Okay, forget that idea. But he has got some strange markings on him as well. There's a glorious paint job on this. Of course, the film's black and white, so a lot of artistic license has clearly gone into this. So he's got like sort of a blood eagle, design on the back there, but also some sort of lilac-y purple sort of splodges, which kind of go with the face and the head, because there's a few other colours going on in there. Now, the artist Gogol did a few cover designs for Forrest J. Ackerman's famous Monsters of Filmland magazine. And he would do a lot of these classic monsters who were filmed in black and white and give them glorious, resplendent, almost psychedelic colour schemes. And famously, he did do King Kong. And Neca have released a version of King Kong, the original King Kong, but with the colour scheme. Oranges and reds and blues and greens, really livid and in kind of surreal areas of Kong's physique, but especially the face. So it's great, it's artistic license. And it's almost like Neca's done the same with this guy, because in the film you've got no idea that he's got any kind of colour patterning or design taking place. But it works, it is interesting. I like it. Or he likes it, or he does. So we can battle that. Now, the tray itself, the plastic coffin, holds another head. I'll show you that in a bit. Some more hands, 4 more paws for Kong. But he also has this. What in the name of... I've sneezed things out of my beak that look just like that. That is a pit monster. And this particular pit monster is one of two designs that animator and creator of Kong, Willis O'Brien, designed. There's a four-legged version at the bottom of the spider pit when he shakes off all the sailors from the log and they all tumble down, and the full uncut scene. We pray that one day we'll get to see that. Oh God, the original sequence, which they did film and then cut out because it was too horrific. And it didn't give audiences a chance to breathe in the movie because it's just non-stop. Once the rescue mission to go and recapture Andaro, played by Fay Wray, sacrificed to Kong. Once the crew go out into the jungle, it's non-stop. A barrage of monsters and incidents, running, screaming and dying aplenty. But here's this is the jungle Skull Island set piece from the 2005 Peter Jackson version with the log there, which can be twisted, and the sailors all get rocked off that. And in the film, as we know it, the 1933 one, they fall to their deaths, but down in that pit, they all survive. It's got a soggy bottom. It's a soggy, soft landing for these guys. But down there, ooh dear, you'd rather have landed on hard rocks and broken every bone in your body, because there's all sorts of beasties down there. There's octopoid creatures. There's a trapdoor spider. There's the big spider. There's other strange critters that just devour these poor sailors. And there's a four-legged version of this. This is the two-legged version. And what this guy does, it crawls up the side of the cliff, the chasm, because our hero, our ostensible hero, played by Bruce Cabot, Jack Driscoll, who's in love with Fay Wray's character, has managed to avoid being shook off the log and crawled via vine down to a cave in the cliff face. But this, probably the same vine that he crawled down, extends all the way down to the base of the chasm. And this bastard starts crawling up there, which he has to then cut loose with his knife. And down it goes. But it's an unusual thing to have put with this Kong, to be honest. But I like it, I do. And, he's great. And there is some articulation. The head does move, does tilt. And, well, I don't think the jaw is actually meant to move, but because it's a bit more flimsy, you can actually do some stuff with it, giving the impression of the jaw's moving up and down. Actually, no, there's a bit of a click going on there. It actually does have a little pivot, a little hinge on it. So you are meant to move that jawbone up and down. But there he is, a little beastoid. Pterodon. You've got some other hands, different grips and stuff like. I think that's the one for like taking Fay Wray's dress off. Ooh, those little bits there. And another one with another kind of grip, which could obviously be holding that as well, I suppose. Let's just try that. Yeah, probably a better grip on that. That's a better grip, to be honest, that one, than the hand I've got in there. So you've got that for, batting away islanders, pesky islanders and sailors. And then you get a couple of fists. Now, these come into play quite clearly when he's having his smackdown tussle with the T-Rex, battering the shite out of it, he does. And it's a great sort of it's very pugilistic. There's wrestling, there's martial arts in there, lots of smackdowns, pile drivers. But, when he gets a moment where he can lean back, boom, he's giving a left and a right. And it's great stuff. You've got them. And you've got another head. Another heed. Another Kongian heed. Look at that. Now that one's a massively pronounced furrowed brow. And he's not happy, is he? Look, that's a fucking... I'll fucking take any of you down. This is my island. And then when he gets to Manhattan Island, that's my island too. But it's great, isn't it? It's great. Now, there's no articulation on the jaw for that one. You can see there's quite a few scars on his face, a few battle wounds, which he does have in the movie. You don't really see them too well, but his wounds are there. Obviously, in Peter Jackson's version, with Andy Serkis playing him in the mocap and all that, the face and his body are ripped, ragged and raw. There's gouges, scars aplenty, and he gets a whole bunch of fresh ones in the course of the movie itself, and his odyssey with Andaro. And then, of course, it's a lot of bullets and machine gun fire as well, but we won't go into that at the moment. Because he doesn't know. He doesn't know what's in store for him. But should we put that head on? Now, I see people doing this all the time on YouTube and doing little reviews of these figures, and they very easily just take a head off and put a new head on. In reality, folks, I don't know how they edit these things, but let's see if I can do this. And I've had these figures, Neca figures, for many, many years, and I'm very, very au fait with how to operate them. But in the last couple of years, maybe a bit longer, I've had trouble with all the figures that have come out, and there's a bit of breakage takes place, a limb will snap off, you can't get the head on properly. I don't know, we'll try. So it should be like a nice little twist and we're off. Twist and we're off. And it should be, there's your little stump. It should be a twist and you're on. Not upside down. And you should feel the reassuring little click. And you know what? Excuse me a moment. I think we're on. I took an extra grip from somewhere unseen. Shh, don't tell anyone. And there he is. That's the... It's not on, is it? See what I mean? You should hear like a little snap, a little... Well, you don't want to hear a snap, do you? A little click. These fucking things, man. Well, it's on enough. So that's, if anything, that's an angrier sort of face, is it not? He's angrier there. But it is a sort of set in stone sort of snarl. Come on, you fucking Tyrannosaur, you. But I like it. I do like it. And the Willis O'Brien original Kong does have that expression. So it's pretty good, pretty good. I like it. Should we change a hand while we're here? Let's change a hand and put a big fist in there. Fist. Hole. Oh, see, no. Isn't that reassuring? Clunk, click. Or click, clunk. I'm not gonna fuck off, right? You, come here. Puff. Oh, get out of it. And here's the Kong from... Is it Playmates? For that play set, I've got a whole load of these. I've got loads of stuff from the 2005 version. I've got infinitely more merchandise and memorabilia from Peter Jackson's version than I've got from the original, and I've got a fucking lot from the original. I'm bigger than you. Fuck off. Oh, take that. Oh. Chaps, I think we better leave it there. But yeah, go on. Have some of that. Try sucking a banana now. But, and you could probably make him beat his chest. Well, you could if you could articulate the arm a bit better. But they're good fists. They're pretty chunky fists, aren't they? Now, I'm going to say as well that he's very hard to stand up. I'm going to say he's actually very easy to stand up. You weren't standing up in rehearsals, were you? You kept falling over. Little bugger. I'm going to put the other paw in to get that better grip. Oh, we are. See, this one won't come out now. We've got Max Steiner's score playing for it. Down we go. Bastard. Okay, take it from me that that's probably the best hand, the best paw to keep in there. Mainly because if it's in there to begin with, it won't fucking come out. That's stuck, that's anchored in stone, that. But I'm going to get rid of that head. Oh, God, now even that won't come off. Neca, if you want to sponsor me. So, you know, that other head goes on. Now, when you get out of the box, that's the head, well, that's the head that was on it for me when I opened the box up. And this is the articulated one, and I prefer that. You've still got some scars on there. They're not as livid, I don't think, as on the more battle-worn head. You seeing that? I think they're a bit less pronounced on that one. But they're still there. But I love the fact that you can, you know, he can roar, and he can go, whoop, spoke too soon, whoop, wait, oh, wait. I mean, yeah, don't speak too soon, mate. You can take out these things, boosh, oomph. But can you take out this? Fucking hell! Woo! I'm 53 years old, you know. But that's a great figure. I can make him stand on this. I'll give him. Let's give you your tree trunk back again. There you go. It still fits in that hand, that paw, very well. So let's get him on here. Now you stood up before. Surely you can do this now. Surely you can do this. Go on, don't let me down now. He's on. Now, from that 2005 version, by the way, let's just, show you the V-Rex. It's not a T-Rex, it's a V-Rex. It's great, isn't it? And I have shown this before. What you can do, when you got this play set, you've got some of the sailors and you've got Andaro as well. I know where the Andaro figure is, but I can't find the sailors. And I wanted to get some little airfix, you know, the little tiny airfix soldiers. Remember them? People of a certain age definitely know these figures. Because they'd be sort of the same sort of scale. To have them running across this and have him... Oh no! That was my fault, that. Sorry, mate. I caught you unawares there, didn't I? There you go. I was going to get some of them airfix soldiers to go running across to show the scale and all that, and have a bit of fun. And of course, I couldn't find them. The lost battalions, can't find them anywhere. But the figures that came with the island and the big playmat and all the pit creatures, you could put the sailors in his gob, and they would travel down as he's doing and the chomping, and they'd sit in his belly, and there's a little cavity here which you can open up, and they'd all come tumbling out. You know, it was great. You know, as a kid, I would have loved that. I mean, as an adult, I loved it. It was a great idea. So, let's show you these guys again. I mean, you can have. It's alive! It's alive! I'm swooping in. The problem is you're going to have to use your hands to do this. Unless you've got some string from the ceiling, you know, and I think, oh, mind you, just thought. There's this thing here. If you put your head through that. Can anyone spot what's going to go wrong here? You stay there. No, that's hardly aggressive. He's just hanging there. Uh-oh. Come on, come out of there. But you need to be able to spend him somehow. You can put him in Kong's hand, I suppose. Let's try that, shall we? Come here. Well, you just got comfortable. He just got over his vertigo as well. So let's get you. Ooh. It's going to be a different... Oh, of course, I can't change this fucking hand, can I? Let's get it. Let's get your scrawny neck in there. Come on. Oh, grab a wing. Okay, well, we've got him there. Right. Yeah. Fuck off. Boosh, boosh, boosh. Boff. Fuck you. You know, I'm trying to sit here with me new bed. Well, Not your kind of bird, my kind of bird. So, but there you go. That is the ultimate King Kong of Skull Island from Neca with accessories from Skull Island. But again, let's bring him in close. Let's hope you can pick up the detail on this. The sculpt is magnificent. The articulation for what is a brutish sort of creature who's got to retain sort of the muscles, the muscle mass and the size and the bulk. Really speaking, because you've got certain musculature of the design, you're not going to get, his arm's not going to go up there, you know what I mean? So there's only so much you can really do, but there's still a fair bit. No. I love the pronounced brow. Of course, he's not exactly accurate to a real silverback gorilla, but he does have, you know, that domed fod up here. The pronounced eyebrows, far more pronounced, obviously, the brow. But he's very definitely a gorilla. You know, there's no mistake in that. But I'll show you the box he came in. Now, what I can tell you is that when I look on Amazon, when I got this from, the amount of people who leave reviews say, well, the figure's great, but the packaging was destroyed. It was ripped, it was scratched. I've never had that before I got this one. There's the front of the box, but there's the back of the box. What happened there? Jesus. But it's okay, I can live with that. Doesn't bother me that much. So there's the side, there's the other side, there's the back with some pickies on it, the window, so you can display him, you know, but the ring light's picking that up, isn't it? So you can display him, which some people do, I know, but as I always say, if people have gone to the, you know, the levels of sculpting and painting and, you know, all this design work, and someone's just going to keep it confined to a box with all the horrible little fucking plastic binders on, well, that's up to you, but to honour what they've done, and let's give them some honour. Direction and development of this project, Randy Folk and Stefan Falkins. Sculpting, Kyle Windricks. Fabrication, Thomas Gwynn. The paint job, John Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp. The prototypes from TrueCast Studios. The photography for all of this sort of stuff, obviously, is Stephen Mazurek. And the packaging, and we can't blame him for that, is Chris Ramo. So, well done, chaps. It is a great figure. I do like it a lot. I think the addition of the pterodon is great, and I love the artistic license with that colour design. Very strange, striking. I love the addition of this because what I'm going to do with that playset's really good. Although I think it works better for, hold on a second. For Predator. I think it works better for that. And I've shown you this before. They look great on that, I think. So, but for Kong, I wouldn't mind rigging up some jungle set myself. Done them before, used to work, me and my friend had a company called Scene in 3D, scene as in movie scene, and 3D because we were making figure stands and bases for every size of figure you can imagine. And a lot of them were designed originals as well. But so we could turn our hands to making dioramas for a lot of different setups. Mainly a lot of the 6 and 7 inch figures from Lord of the Rings really went to town on them, using real materials, as in real trees, bark, wood, stones, moss, and we did it. Looked amazing. So I'm pretty certain I could recreate something. And I'd like to have the cave that Driscoll is hiding in, Bruce Cabot, and have a figure of him. Well, you have to mock one up, I suppose, and have that crawling up the side, you know, coming to get him. There's this guy again. Look at it. Of course, in the Kong Skull Island, they had the skull crawlers, didn't they? And they were based on that creature. They were much bigger. They literally had, if you can imagine it, well, the same sort of body, the two muscly arms, legs, big long tail, spiny back, I think. But the gob was a fanged version of that. It was much longer, like a beak. In some artwork for the original King Kong, there was because you had a lot of paleontologists who complained about certain elements of the monsters and dinosaurs on Skull Island. Well, it's O'Brien said we kept to, you know, what we knew at the time, and with some poetic license as well, because it's a fantasy movie. But he never put teeth in the big beak of this guy. But in so much promotional artwork, it was ringed with these razor piranha-like fangs, and these dinosaur experts were just going like, that didn't have any teeth at all, didn't do that. And he said, well, I didn't put them in. That was the artist who did that. I didn't do that. It's not in the movie. So they did stick to kind of what they knew, but with a bit of, you know, extra leeway, because it's just pure flight of fancy. I mean, a 50-foot gorilla. They do exist, I know. I married one. But there he is. The king of Skull Island. He meets beauty, and, you know, the rest, sadly, is history. We all fall for it, you know. Love is the great undoing of us all. There he is. A champion. The feet are articulated, but quite stiff. They don't move very far. Obviously, below the knee is articulated, and these do you know, sort of ratchet. You know, you can. There's a fair bit there to play with. You are kind of stumped by the fact that he has his hairy sort of buttocks, you know, which is sort of hanging down there. So the legs aren't going to move much further back. You've got a waist pivot as well, and forwards and backwards, limited, but it's there, and obviously side to side. And the head, when you get the head anchored on properly, the less said about that, the better. It will spin round and it will move up and down. No, it doesn't move up. It does not move up and down. No, it does. It does. Sorry, I'm wrong. It does move up and down. But if you use that head, you've got the added glory of roar. And if you're able to, you can change both paws. It would appear that I can't do that. That was really anchored in, that. Now, folks. Lest regular viewers thought, he's not drinking. Oh, he is. Cheers, y'all. The Kong coverage has not ended yet. I did a video the other day celebrating Kong's 90th birthday, and for his premiere in New York. Now, along with that, I'm going to do a King Kong 1933 watch-along party. Oh yes, you're going to get it. So it'd be a good idea, if you guys have got the movie, watch it beforehand. I aim to do it tomorrow, so it'll be the next video, very probably, that you see popping up if you subscribe. If you haven't, please do. And we're going to sit and watch King Kong together. Now, so watch it first, so you can just listen to me waffle on about it. Now, what I'm going to say as a sort of preamble, to preface this, many people that do commentary tracks for these vintage movies, the likes of your Tom Weaver, your David Del Valle and all that, and many, many others, they're brilliant and I love them to bits. But they're overtly technical, and if they can give you one detail about a member of the cast, they're going to give you every fucking detail going. You know, how many teeth they had when they died, what cigarettes they smoked, the shoe size, you know, all their partners, every fucking film they've been in. You're not going to get that with me. And nor are you going to get massive in-depth production background for all the special effects and all the scenes and the bits that were cut out. I will cover all of that. But the whole idea of me doing watch-along parties is that you and me are sitting there together, and you'll get some background stuff, you'll get some trivia, you get some anecdotes, but we're sitting together and we're having a laugh at the same time. We're enjoying the movie. We're going to, you know, roll with the punches and the blows and the action and the tragedy, you know, and the suspense and the action and excitement. We're going to do all of that, but you'll get some of the background as well. But I'm not going to overload it with that stuff because most of you who are watching this channel, you're all big fans of these movies anyway, so you know the stuff. When I put a commentary track on that's a technical one, you know, that I'm hoping to learn something new. But if you're into the movie, you've read all the books, the magazines, the background, you've seen interviews, you know the stuff pretty well. So I don't want to like try to, you know, spoon feed you all the stuff you already know. But have a bit of fun with it. So that should be tomorrow. Guys, if you think I'm a bit sort of sketchy on this particular video, I'll tell you why, and this is a technical thing. The camera's facing the other way, or the camera's facing me, but I can't see myself. So I'm kind of like in the dark as to how to do this. But I wanted to try and get as much detail on the figure itself, instead of me just sitting there and trying to show you stuff and it gets all blurred when I do close-ups and the ring light starts throwing things out. So I've actually, you know, tried to do something different. Hence the positioning here and all of this. But because I can't see myself, it's very strange. Having done sort of like, I don't know, have I done 15,000 videos? 15,000, 1,500, fucking hell, I can't even count these days. Sort of like 1,500 videos. It's along those lines. And all of them where I can see myself, to suddenly have just this blank space to look at, you know, and I'm probably looking in the wrong place right now. I think the lens is up there, but with the ring light in my eyes, I can't even see where I'm meant to be looking. So if this appears very, very amateur, I do apologise. And it hasn't half thrown me not being able to see myself and go like, that's what we're looking at here. And I can do a little sort of, you know, I'm in the dark, folks. I'm in the dark. I'm flying by the seat of me kilt. But, you know, Kong is worth it. Kong's worth making sacrifices and sort of innovations. Shake things up a little bit. Because that film is a technical masterclass. Nothing that they'd done in that movie had been attempted before to that degree. And it's just, it still stands the test of time. I watched it the other night to celebrate Kong's 90th birthday. I did watch it. I watched it twice, and I was captivated and enthralled on both occasions. Even though I drunk what amounted to about 3 or 4 bottles of whiskey. I was pretending to be a sailor on board the Venture. You know what sailors are like. Yeah. Any port in the storm. Cheers, y'all. So, anyway, folks, there you go. That is Kong Ultimate Skull Island 7-inch action figure from Neca. The other figures in the range, I think he was the 3rd one that came out. So there are more. There might be more after him. And they're all wonderful. You've got one, it's Kong at the end of, he's got the chains on him around his hands and around his feet. And you have a biplane, a Navy pursuit plane. He's got one of those, and he's got Andaro as well. And I think you might have the top of the Empire State Building as well. I think. By the way, folks, do you know that it's that spire that he hangs onto? That is the docking point for a dirigible, which is not a Zeppelin. A dirigible is a different thing. And if anyone has seen the famous picture of the US Navy again dirigible called the Los Angeles, moored at the top of the Empire State Building. Looks spectacular. It's not real, folks. It's a composite shot. No dirigible ever moored at the top of the Empire State Building. But that's what it's for. So people can go up to the top of the Empire State Building, and it's anchored there. They can go across the little bridge, which the dirigible will set across, and they can board, the dirigible. Never happened. Never actually happened. But that's what he's hanging on at the top. That big sort of spire. That's what he's hanging on. So, but there he is, folks. It's Kong in all his plastic glory. Yeah, but it's good, solid, chunky piece of kit. Looks wonderful, and you can put him in any sort of display that you want. You can have him riding, as I did. I am riding one of these into battle. Hey, come on, New York. Big apple. I want a big banana. But yeah, folks, I have been on with the Kilt-Man. I shall always be drinking whiskey until my liver finally says, no more, that's it, finito, you're gone. And I will tumble, probably from a bar stool, not exactly the top of the Empire State Building, but but the mighty always fall. So, there you go. Be on the lookout for the watch along party for King Kong. Try and watch it beforehand, and we'll have a great time with that, I promise. And I'll try to bring in everything, but the emphasis being on entertainment and having a laugh. That's the whole point of these things. So, folks, in the meantime, in this ever super simian in between time, please keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all later. I've got to go round the back to turn the button off now, haven't I? That's playing havoc with my normal routines. Jesus. And I'm also trying to fit into the frame as well, the way I've positioned that. So I don't know, all this monkey business, it's having an effect on me.